Maybe the greatest college tennis career of all time, with 4 team titles, 2 individual championships, and a 72-match win streak. He went on to win 4 ATP trophies, reach a career high of 21, and become host of a tennis podcast that's bigger than us. Steve Johnson, welcome to the Changeover. Welcome to the Changeover podcast. My name is Justin Roberts. I'm joined by my 6'4", sometimes 6'5" co-host Jody Maginley. He's over there in Lincoln, Nebraska at the Challenger. And today we have some tennis podcast unity going on. We have college tennis legend, one of the craziest streaks in college tennis we've ever seen, career high number 21 in the world, and host of Nothing Major podcast, Steve Johnson. Thank you for joining us tonight, man. Appreciate it.
Yeah, boys, appreciate it. Love what you guys are doing, and it's it's a lot of fun being on. For me, fully being retired, right? I know it's tough for you guys. Still playing. It's a lot of work. So appreciate what you guys do. It's good for the game of tennis, no doubt.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.
How has life been since retirement? If you could just take us on that journey.
It's been good in a lot of ways, confusing in a lot of ways. It's crazy. I'm 35 years old. I retired at 34 last year at NUL. So for me, it's been about 18 months. And, I played tennis my whole life. I mean, I've played since I was 2 years old, played my first tournament when I was 5. I'm a tennis lifer. My dad was a tennis coach. I grew up around clubs. So, this is the only life that I've ever known. And I will say it was weird last year, just stopping. I've taken breaks in my career. I'm not one of those guys who needed to hit every day or wanted to hit every day or, felt like they needed to have the racket in their hand. At the end of a season from, when I finished a year, let's call it in Bear C, November 1st, I didn't pick up a racket for 5 weeks. And that's how I did it. So I've taken these little, mini prolonged breaks from the sport. But, it took a while. Once I felt like the French Open came around, I was like, yeah, I've played that the last 11 years. This is a little weird that I'm not in Paris. And then Wimbledon came around and you're like, all right, this is a little weird. And then, going to the US Open last year in 2024, I was helping Chris Eubanks. I was doing, corporate stuff, some TV stuff, and I was just like, God, I enjoyed being there. And it was nice because it wasn't that stressful because I know how the stress is as playing. You can't take a breath. It's US Open. You want to perform so well. And I was like, well, it's not so bad. I'm, having a cocktail. I'm cruising the grounds. I'm not worried about practice or what the schedule is going to be like, what the weather's going to be tomorrow. It was crazy. So I've enjoyed being retired. I love the sport of tennis. I love the game of tennis. I just couldn't do the work that it takes. And you guys know how it is. What you see on court is, 5-10% of what actually goes into it, right? All the travel, all the training, all the rehabs, all the practice to get yourself to that point became basically like a job to me. And that never was the case. So my last year, I was laboring. I was dealing with some injuries and, wasn't feeling physically great, mentally great, had a young family at home and just my priority shifted. So I love the fact that I'm still involved in tennis, in a pretty decent sized way, just in a much different manner.
Did you have any guilt in the sense of we just had usually on the podcast last week and he was saying that now when his mindset kind of changed a little bit because he was obviously when he was coming up, he was like, wow, you're playing tennis till 30. That was old as a tennis player back then versus now you're looking at guys like Stan and Goffin and a bunch of players, Djokovic. And his mindset kind of changed to think that, okay, now it's possible to play tennis late into your 30s. Do you think any differently now? Is there any regrets? And did you feel pressure to retire at a certain age or point in life, I guess?
No, I didn't feel any regret when I retired. There was a lot of things that kind of clicked for me over the course of my career, right? You come from college, all you want to do is make it as a pro, right? That's all you want to do is try and be as successful as you possibly can be. And then you get to a certain point, like, okay, how do I sustain this? And then how do I, get better? How do I try and clip these top guys? All these little things. And it really kind of hit me in the summer of 23. I was working my way back up the rankings. I won Bloomfield Hills. I won Lexington Challenger. And at that point, I was happier that the tournament was over. There's like this weird feeling, like, to be at the end of a tournament. I've won challengers, I've won ATP events, but I was more excited that I just didn't have to go out and play the next day. My body was broken down. I was hurt mentally. I was hurt physically. I just found I was more excited for the tournament to be over rather than like winning and getting, I was scratching the surface to get back to the top 100. And I was like, that's probably not a good sign, mentally to be at that place of, trying to get back to where I feel like I belong. And then injuries started to take place. And, for me, realistically, I was, my last couple events really, in 2024, early in that year, I only played 3 events. I couldn't hold the racket. I couldn't practice. For Indian Wells, I was getting injections every time I stepped on the court, pain, medicine and stuff, just so I could finish. I wanted to finish on my own terms. So that was a big draw for me because I felt I needed to get, some work done on my knee. I had a torn quad tendon. I had some torn ligaments in my right elbow, which if it was my left elbow, I could have just cut it off and we would have been no problem. But I need my right arm to survive.
Nothing changes.
Shit, I need my right arm to survive, out there. For me, I probably realistically would have needed 9 to 12 months of like a couple either surgeries or injections and a big rehab process to get back. Yeah. So in that moment, where I was not enjoying winning those challengers in 23 to then, having to step back, I would have had a protected ranking somewhere around, 150 to, something like that. And it just I didn't have the drive or the passion to put what I felt like it needed and what tennis deserves to go back out there. So, for me, it was the right time to walk away. And for me, Indian Wells, I got a chance to have my family there, my daughters, my wife, aunts, uncles, grandparents that were still around were able to come out. And it was a perfect send-off for me. So I haven't missed the tour, if that makes any sense. I miss a couple things, right? Like, it sounds so cliche. I miss the locker room. I miss, shooting it with the guys in the locker room or, playing at Wimbledon or playing at the US Open, of course. But all those little tournaments throughout there, all the little things, the practices, the rehabs, the tedious, monotonous things you got to do as a pro just didn't really spark any fire in me anymore. And I haven't regretted a decision once, to be honest.
2023 in Kentucky at the Challenger there, I'm playing and I go to the lobby for breakfast and I see Steve Johnson in the lobby. We had a True by Hilton. I see you walk, look at the breakfast, and it's probably like powdered eggs and some plastic bag turkey sausages. Next thing I see is you walk to the rental car and you're out of the parking lot quick. I think the story I tell myself is, man, you play 10 years on tour, you play all the slams, masters, and you pull up to a True by Hilton and you got powdered eggs. It's not where you want to be. How tough was it having to kind of swallow the pride, if so to speak, and go back to the beginning and go through the challenges again, trying to push your way back at that time, mentally and physically? How hard was it? It's hard.
Yeah, it's hard mentally. It's hard physically. There's ways you can emotionally as well. Like, there's ways you can do it to kind of mitigate some of those issues, right? Like, dealing with certain things while you're on the road. But it's hard. Look, I don't know what the right word is. I was accustomed for, the bulk of 8 years. I mean, from end of 2014 to 2021, maybe through COVID, like I probably played 10 challengers, like in that, and they were all big ones, right? Like it's Newport Beach, when they had it, it's 125 in my backyard. We're talking Phoenix, the 125, like the big ones where it's not that. And I remember getting to that. I remember getting to Lexington on whatever day it was, Saturday night. I think I flew there because I was maybe I was coming from home. Maybe there was a Subway like 2 doors down. I grabbed a Subway sandwich. I ate it in my room and I went to bed and I was like, Let's buckle up, baby. Like, this is blue collar tennis right now. I'll remember that vividly. I remember that hotel. I remember the drive to the courts. But you got to remember, and I think I actually got better at that later in 2024. Like in 23 and 22, I was still, I don't want to be here. You're kind of grumpy, right? You're just.
I remember you were that way in Monterey as well. I
was grumpy. Correct.
Transportation one time going to Monterey, and you were. I don't think you were complaining, but you were in conversation with someone, and you weren't happy with, I don't know what it was, and I was thinking, bro, like, futures are fucking like 15 times worse than this. Like, this is a nice tournament, you know? So I can't even imagine what like US, bro, when I went to US Open this year, I was like, yo, this is insane. Like how nice this is. Like, we need to get here, Justin. We need to fucking practice, bro.
Dude, I remember, so that Monterey trip, I remember exactly. Like, I was there with my coach, Mark. I lost to Taro Daniel first round. And that's a good tournament. It's an unbelievable tournament. The setting, you know, the hotel was great. Like, everything about it, it's better than some 250s, right? Like, that's not. But I was just, you know, it's mental. It's all mental, and it's ridiculous. The fact that, you know, and I look back and I know, like, I made a lot of mistakes in my career. And, like, I'm looking back at that mentally and, like, you know, you had an opportunity, but you squandered it, right? Like, I could have gone to Monterey, good altitude court, used my serve, used my forehand, and competed, won a tournament, and kind of gotten some momentum. But, you know, it's just, I had a few of those trips over the course of my career where you just couldn't get out of that funk. And it didn't get any better, I promise you. The next week in Acapulco, is that right?
Yeah,
like, I'm pretty sure Acapulco
right.
was the next week, if I'm not mistaken. I could be making this up, but I could be making up the timing, but not the story. I'm playing Kozlov first round in qualies in the 500. You know, I shattered my rackets on the court. I threw it out of the stadium. I was so angry.
That's a fine.
I threw it out of the stadium.
That's a healthy fine.
A healthy fine, for sure. Got plenty of those in my career. So I do that. I fire it out. I'm like in anger, right? I'm sitting on the court in that tournament, you know. I book a flight home for the next morning, 6 a.m. I'm like, I hate this. I'm done. I'm going home. We got Indian Wells coming up. Like, I got to get out of here. I don't even remember you have to do COVID testing, any of this stuff. I get to the airport. They're like, yeah, where's your COVID test? I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'm leaving. Like, let me back into America. Like, I'm gone. So, like, I'm in Mexico City airport, at the airport, like, COVID testing site, getting tested. I'm like, I'll give you any amount of money to just give me a negative test and let me get on my 10 a.m. flight home. Like, please.
Take all of my rackets.
Just take it all. I don't care. You can have everything. Just give me the clothes on my back and I'll be gone. But like you guys say, it's hard. It's hard emotionally. The court is the exact same. The dimensions are the same. It's all your perception in your mind. And I wasn't good at that. If I would go somewhere solo by myself, I was worse at it. I needed my coach, or I needed somebody to kind of help me frame that tournament in a different way, because every week's an opportunity. Like, it is. Like, these challengers, guys are good. And at the beginning of my career, I honestly could say I could have slept walked through the quarters in any of these challengers. That's not the same anymore. These guys from 200 to 400, they're better. They're just better than they were 10, 15 years ago. The level's gotten deeper, and you know, I think that's good for the game, but it's difficult when you get in that mindset. And I'm glad I won that tournament in Lexington, but that, not a bad hotel. Breakfast had a lot to be deserved, or to be desired. I will remember that for sure.
I just remember you walked in and walked out, and I saw you in the car, and within 10 seconds, and you were out of the parking lot, man, quick.
I probably
They changed the hotel. The hotel is a different hotel now.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
That was not
It's
a bad
like
hotel. A
around
lot
the
of guys
corner.
did housing there. I would assume it's pretty good, but
Yeah, I heard
that
they
hotel
have
wasn't
housing,
bad.
actually, yeah.
At that point in my career, I was a little too old to do housing. I was like, I'm going to just eat the money for a hotel if I have to. Like, I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to get a rental car. Like, I can, you know, I'm not going to be, you know, on transportation time for the challenger level. I want to be able to go to dinner, right? There's things you can do to make it better, but it's definitely, it was a different change for sure.
And when you have children, how much tougher is it to leave home for these trips? Or is it easier in some ways? 'Cause maybe you want a break. I don't know.
It's different. Yeah. No. In some ways it's easier and it's nicer. You can kind of get in your own hotel room, turn the AC down. You got no sound machines or monitors on, right? But for me, it was definitely more difficult. That's something that was important to me, obviously, and with my wife. Like, I didn't want to have kids at 26, 27, like early when we got married, because I knew I was going to be somebody that wanted to kind of be home. Like, I didn't want to miss those milestones. You know, they're so, in the grand scheme of things, they're meaningless, right? Like, being there for your daughter's actual first birthday, right? She's not going to remember. You can take a picture 10 days before. She's not going to know the difference. but I didn't want to be there for that, right? Like, and that kind of thing really was true. Like, and I didn't want to miss those things. So it became harder to leave home. But in some ways it made it easier, right? I'd leave home and I'd go to these tournaments with a different attitude. It's like, yeah, I am home, or I am away from home. I'm not going to go out there and just have a bad attitude and throw it against the wall. Like, that's wasting their time for me being gone. That's wasting my time for being here. And, your perspective changes a little bit. And actually, it kind of hit me the first time, like how much that actually meant to me was in Newport in Newport, the ATP event in 2022, if I'm not mistaken. I think, or maybe it was 2021. It was one of the first, maybe it was 2021. My daughter was maybe like 7 months old. My wife came with me, right? Like the first tournament they kind of traveled to. And I lost to Dennis Kudla, which is fucking annoying because I don't like losing to Dennis. He's one of my best friends in the world, but I don't like losing to him.
Okay.
And like, I'm annoyed. I just lost like to Dennis, right? Somebody I have a good record against, I should beat.
Okay.
And like, I'm annoyed. And then 2 minutes later, like my daughter like kind of crawls up to me. Like, we're sitting on the grass there at Newport and like, we're just rolling around on the grass and she doesn't care. I'm like, you're right. Like, it doesn't actually matter. Not like it does matter, of course, but like there's bigger things to this than for me. And actually that changed my perspective quite a lot for my last couple of years was they're not good. My family doesn't like me because I win every week, right? Like, they don't like me for that. They like me for the person that I am, how I am around the house, and
Doesn't hurt.
it's just and it doesn't hurt to win. Trust me, life is a lot better when you win. I promise you.
You're so immature, bro. The man's trying to have a moment talking about his family, talking about it doesn't hurt.
He is correct. It is. Trust me, it is a lot better to win. You win tournaments, you win matches. Those powdered eggs taste better. Those hotel beds feel better. Being around site feels better.
For sure.
But it's definitely a different perspective once you start having those kids and families, which I'm glad I did later in my career because, it just would have been hard in the middle.
Hey guys, quick break from the episode. The best way to support us is to like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notification bell so you don't miss any of the upcoming videos. Thanks for watching and enjoy the rest of the episode.
2022 off season, the boys are scheming. Like, what can we do to make some money? Like, what could be like a fun project to do for us to make some cash on the side and maybe develop something that's cool in a few years? So we decided let's do a podcast, right? And then we start doing this
false.
thing. Jody decides to do a podcast. Whatever. Let me get to the story, bro. Doesn't matter. It's not a big deal.
Go on. It's a big deal because people are going to listen and be, oh, these motherfuckers just want to make money. That's not what happened.
Okay, Jody wants to change the world. He wants to improve tennis. He says, let's do a podcast. I say, yeah, let's do it. Let's put a spotlight on the lower rankings, and then we can get the big players on. Then we give a big platform to the small players. Then everybody will be happy and everybody makes money. Everything is great.
Just ask your question, bro.
Boom. So a few months go by, and I don't know who's first, but then like Serve comes around. And then Nothing Major comes around and we're like, oh shit. So now it's going to be a little tougher because we got some big names in this space. At what point did the idea for Nothing Major come around and did you become involved in that?
Yeah. So, I mean, Sam and John and Jack, like we're all really close. Like I'm very close with Sam. Like he's one of my best friends in the world. John as well. And Jack and these guys, we've had so much success together. It was interesting. Like, we were kind of brainstorming things like, cause we want to, like I talked about a little earlier, like you lose the sense of community when you retire. Like, all my best friends, like nobody lives, around the corner. I don't see them, at the coffee shop anymore, like every day. Like I want to still be connected. And, we didn't know really what we wanted to do, any of us, right? Like, we're just still trying to figure this thing out. And this was a perfect way for us to stay connected. And we got very lucky. Charlie Fox and his people at Sift Creative, they do a lot of media for the tour, kind of approached us with this idea, and took an idea that we all had, but actually made it a reality. Because, like, I mean, as you guys know, like, it's not easy. Like, from the editing, like, I haven't owned a computer since college. Like, like things like that. Like,
I didn't either. It's crazy.
No, and none of us live together. So how can we do something together and stay connected and have this bond and this friendship? And, luckily we gave it a try last year. And, we have enjoyed it ourselves. The people seem to enjoy it. Nobody's asked us to stop doing it quite yet, which is probably a good thing.
Plenty of people asked us to stop.
Yeah, but
That's not
that's
true.
the thing is
either.
like
See, no, that's you.
That is true.
exaggerating.
That is
That's
quite
not
literally true.
That is
Quite
not true.
literally, that's true.
don't stop. Okay. Look, I mean, if you look at it like, and our whole thing was like kind of as we started like brainstorming and getting early into this and getting some feedback. In tennis, like there's not many. There's more now, obviously, but there's not many player-led podcasts. People there. You look at basketball, football, baseball. You have all these guys that have their own platform, right? That is, it's so powerful because people want to know you're connected to these guys. The challenger level is definitely underrepresented. It's getting more so now, like, with Challenger TV and, guys like Mike Cation who are calling matches and putting a light,
Legend.
To where this is good tennis. I mean, challenger level tennis is really good tennis. I just, I called Elliot Spizzeri's match this morning doing stuff for Tennis Channel, and he just beat Bodek van de Zandschulp like a drum. And that guy's played 20 challengers this year, right? And he's got 2 ATP wins this year. Like that's good tennis. He has the ability. And to get these guys, when they're on their way up, it's remarkable. I mean, when I was in 2021 and 2021, like, I'm playing, Lisbon Challenger, Alcaraz is winning it. It's like, all right, like this guy's a little different than me. Like, like there's a different level, and it's important. But, for us, we enjoyed it. We, Sam, John, and I, we do a lot of tennis media, right? Like you've seen those guys on ESPN, and Sam and I do a lot of Tennis Channel stuff together. Jack's still heavily involved, like playing pickle. So he does, he doesn't do any of that stuff, but he's still involved in the tennis world, right? Like it's just something you can't quit. And this is the best way for us to kind of stay involved, have fun, give the insides to life. Because you guys get, I mean, just like any spectator, right? You get to see what happens out on the court or the field, or, but there's a lot that happens outside, a lot of travel shenanigans. You never know what you're going to get at these tournaments. Like, people just see, oh, you're in Lincoln this week. Nobody has any idea what that actually entails. Like, where'd you come from last week? What the hotel is like? My bags didn't make it. I had to play with a buddy's bag, right? Like it's all these things that go into it that people, they get attached to these stories, and they get attached to the player, which is great, because this sport is so deep.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was in Alabama at a Future random, and a lady in her 50s says she listened to our podcast, and she went back to the beginning, and she's become a fan of like a bunch of players that nobody would really know, like Futures guys, and then like Tristan Schoolkid on his way up, Spitzeri. Like she's a big fan of these guys, not just because we've had them on and we've heard their stories. So it is a powerful thing. And Jody, you're doing a great job, and we're shedding light on all levels of tennis, and it's a beautiful thing, brother.
Look at you guys giving each other compliments. It's good. It's powerful. It's powerful.
I'm a sarcastic asshole.
Hey, I'm right there with you. Don't you worry.
All right. Speaking of being an asshole, then I would like you to rank your showmates in a few different categories. Just give me the best and the worst in these 5 categories.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Nothing major, ranked by return of serve.
Gosh, best would be, worst is easy. It's John by far.
Okay.
Best, I think Sam was a great returner. He's long. He's got like these, I think Sam, but if you take doubles into consideration, like as well, then it's Jack. Because Jack, obviously, Mike Bryan doesn't go to the deuce side for many people, right? And they win slams together with Jack on the ad. Like that's pretty damn powerful. So I think actually going to take Jack. I'm going to take Jack.
Okay. By backhand.
Oh, God, we're all bad. I mean, there's a tie for last it's me. I'll just say it's me. And then I think Sam was the best because when he got it going, when it clicked in 2017 or 18, whenever that year was when he almost got top 10, his backhand was money. Money.
Yeah. And then by humor, who's the funniest and
Sam.
who's the least funny? Sam's the funniest.
Yeah, he's
Sam's
the
the best player
like,
on the squad, or what? Sam is the MVP?
But like Sam is like, you got to know Sam to know Sam. Like, you guys familiar with Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Mm-hmm.
He is Larry David, right?
Okay.
Like things happen to him that like you don't think that they should, but like Sam will do something like today, and then next week, it'll come full circle, and like something will, you're just like, this doesn't make any sense. Okay. Like, how is Sam involved in these types of things? And then I think I'm just going to say John, just because he gets grumpy sometimes. He's 7 feet tall. It's got to be tiring walking around all the time. He just gets grumpy. He gets sulky and grumpy. And he's got 4 kids, so he's just tired.
I can imagine. Okay, last 2 here. Effort in the pod.
Oh man, it's
Now
just
you're
tough.
calling out the man's business. Jeez.
Yeah, it's just tough. Look, we'd like Jack to respond sometimes more to the group chat, because we're throwing out crazy ideas. He's gotten good at it again.
Criticism, constructive. Okay.
It's constructive, because you guys know, like, you're just letting things fly. But I will say, to his defense, it is difficult. Like, if you're gone for like 2 hours and you're talking through something, and there's like 600 messages, you're just so far gone. Like, you don't even know what's happening anymore.
Can't catch up. Yeah.
And then I would say Sam actually throws out the craziest ideas, which is good because then John and I and Jack, like, we'll filter, like, hey, like, I love the idea. It's very funny, but we're never going to air that segment ever. Ever. We can do it. We can do it. Like, we could film it, but it's never going to see the light of day, So I give Sam a lot of credit because he'll throw in some stuff and I'll just be sitting. I'm like, I don't even know how you got there. Like, what gave you this idea? I like it. I'm into it. I don't see it working for the grand scheme of things, but here we are.
For sure. Last one, by forehand. Who's got the best and who's got the worst forehand?
Gosh, I'm going to say John has the worst forehand just because he has such a good serve. He didn't have to use it.
Okay.
I mean, the best forehand's either Jack or myself for sure because we kind of needed it out of dire necessity. I'm going to say Jack's a little bit over mine because of how different it was with the spin. Like, it was nasty. Like, I had a great forehand. Like, I'll toot my own horn. But, like, his spin, like, it just was different, right? Like, it just had this different move to it that you just didn't see. And, like, I don't know how he did it with his grip, with the racket strung at, like, 20 pounds, whatever it was. But he did it, and he did it damn well.
Yeah, that year he won Paris, I mean, he was different.
It's crazy.
Different. Jody, can you take the lead here with that on-tour topic?
All right, here we go. So,
this is the one. Is this the one that we've been messaging about?
This is it. So, I want to start by saying that my career high in singles was about 1,000 in the world. So, I'm saying this is a discussion from a place of absolute humility. And I think that you're a very good tennis player, not only in your prime, but for all of the years that you played. And if we played a set right now, you'd probably crash.
All right, bro.
Shut up, Justin. It's not your turn. So, we were I think it started in Barranquilla at the Challenger, or maybe the week before, I don't know. But we were talking about, like, the conditions of tennis today, the balls being a little bit softer and the court speed and stuff. And then we started talking about game styles. And your name came up when we started talking about game styles because I said that I believe that the game style of a serve and forehand and maybe like a chip backhand is not as effective in the game today as it was like before COVID when the balls were like lively, kick serves used to jump like crazy, slices used to like knife and go through the court. Speak.
Can you say it with the same vig you said it with to me?
No. Because the reason why I said it so upset is because I couldn't believe that people don't agree with me. But now we're going to actually find out. I thought that if you take Steve Johnson in his prime and put him into today's tennis, so put your career high was what, 21?
Yep.
Around there, I think. Put that Steve Johnson in today's tennis, and I know this is an impossible thing to do, but where do you see yourself in the ATP rankings?
I'm going to look at the rankings. Let me take a closer look. But you are correct. You are absolutely correct. I do think towards the end of my career, I struggled a little bit more due to the fact that tennis has become a bit more one-dimensional. Like, if I was teaching a kid right now, 15, 16, 17, I'm telling them to stand on the baseline, take giant cuts, and you'll figure it out later. You'll get to the tennis part later. But if you can't swing and hit winners from both sides of the racket, like, it's difficult. Because, for a bulk of my career, pre-COVID, I would say, and then even a little bit after COVID, towards the end, I really struggled. It's not as much of a chess match anymore. Like, I can't hit a short chip cross court, then hit it one down the line, then use my forehand, kind of poke and prod and win a point in 3 or 4 shots. Like, you'd hit a good slice or play a good point, and then you play a guy like Chapo who just takes a full cut on a ball and he's going to hit one on the back fence and he's going to hit a winner on the next one. And you never know when that's going to happen. It could happen at break point. It could happen at 2-all on the first. Like, who knows? But in today's game, like, I still think...
Bro, I was being called a hater, bro. People
No,
calling me a
no,
hater.
no,
Like,
no.
they were walking
Not a
around
hater.
saying, they were just telling people, bro, you know Jody hates Steve Johnson? Like, they were doing that. And I was like,
Yeah, I
bro,
love
what
that.
are you guys talking about, bro?
No, look, it's a different game. No, it's different. You don't see guys like there's nobody. I mean, I'm looking at the rankings now. There's not one guy in the top 10 where you can be like, gosh, like his backhand is weak, right? Or his serve is weak. Like they're all good tennis players. I mean, you can say that again, okay, look at Ben Shelton. You could say his backhand is a liability, but over the last 2 years, it's gotten so much better. Like that was a liability 3 years ago, right? And he's gotten better each and every week. I'm looking at the rankings dude, Mensick at 19, like just stands on the baseline and throws haymakers. Like I'm struggling against him. Chapeau, like I still think I get Tsitsipas right now. I don't think he's playing so well. I think I get him. But I'd say I'm still top 30 for sure. I think it's just more difficult. Like, for sure. I still think I'm going to always bet on myself.
Wait. So, Jody,
Oh, my goodness.
Jody, you did this whole setup, right?
Yes.
Right? He agreed with you and then said, I'll be the
Top
same.
30.
I'm still top
the
30.
same.
I'm saying, but it's exponentially harder.
Okay.
I think it's harder.
So you will meet the challenge. You will meet the challenge.
Of course, because look, I'm gonna adapt. I'm gonna find a way. Look, I was crafty out there. I didn't have to win pretty. Some of these guys need to win pretty, and I think that's also I think has changed a lot in sometimes detrimental to some of the guys. They want it to be pretty, right? Like they want it to look good. They want to like feel good. They want to throw that clip up on Instagram of them hitting smooth backhands and looking like Roger out there. Where I didn't give a shit. If it's windy, I'll hit it with a butt cap over the net. I'm just gonna find a way to win the last point. But yeah, it's definitely way more difficult in today's game to do what I did. So it's definitely difficult, and I felt that shift as well. Like you could feel it coming with these young guys.
Darian was calling me a hater. Darian's like, you don't respect Steve Johnson's game, bro. He's telling me like Steve Johnson was so good. And I was like, we're at dinner fully watching highlights, by the way, on YouTube. Like at dinner.
I was good. I stink now. I was good.
Okay.
Mikhail Yuzhny was obviously top. He was 8 in the world, I think. We asked him a similar question last week, and he said he thinks he would only be 50, 60 in the world. What do you think about that?
I just want him to bet on himself a little bit more. Come on now.
That's all.
Like, and that being said, like I do think it's exponentially more difficult for me to do it now in today's game. Like I really do. But again, I will never bet against myself if I was in my prime. Like I was,
Respect.
Against anybody. Look, whether that's a truthful statement or not, I walked out to every court at least believing I was going to win, right? You could go to a slam and probably not going to win. There was a lot of guys that did, but at least I walked out there. There was only a couple times I probably felt like I was in over my head.
Which times were those?
I mean, you walk out to, 4th round Wimby against Roger, 2016, and you got to walk by all his memorabilia on your way out there. That's not an easy one to do. And then I played Rafa in Madrid one year, like in 2015 maybe, or 14. I probably didn't think I was going to win that one as I'm watching them dump wheelbarrows of clay to make it slower before the match. I'm like, I don't think it's going to matter. But like, go for it.
So they are changing the court surfaces speed according to who's playing.
They
are doing it.
They had to fix the court, They had to fix the court. But I get out there and the baseline's like this much lower than like the second half of the court. I'm like, guys, I don't think it's going to matter. I appreciate it, but I don't think it's going to matter.
So Zverev is right. Aha.
The Davis Cup, it gets more, gets more prickly. You get guys in the middle of the night with sandpaper to kind of make it quicker.
I like it. Your backhand obviously was the weak side or the side you used to set up the forehand. Did you ever consider making a change on the two-hand side, maybe to a 1-E? Or did you ever consider, or was there a point in your life where you decided, I'm just going to play this way and win this way? I'm going to use a chip and I'm going to find the forehand.
Yeah, I'd say there's probably like 3 or 4 different like spots in my career. Like I talked about switching after juniors, like when I was 17, 18. Gave it a crack, Then I tried after my first year of college again. And then after once when I was like 13, 14, I broke my thumb. So my left thumb. So I was like, oh, well, I played one-handed anyway. And I was like, we should just switch. But as a kid at that point, like you want to win, right? Like I was winning. I was number 1 in Southern California. Like it's no fun to like learn at that age, right? But I'm saying like tough learning. Like I beat all these guys for the last couple of years when you're 10, 11, 12, and now I'm going to lose to them for the next couple of years while I'm trying to figure out a one-handed backhand. And then, in theory, 5 years down the road, I'll be much better than them because I have a one-hander. But so I tried a few times. Like after my freshman year, I gave it a serious go, like in the summer. And I just was stubborn. The one-hander is way more natural for me. Like I hit it pretty well. I use it a lot on passing shots. And it's crazy because, you get to some coaches, right? Like maybe that aren't as involved with you, but you guys, you guys are around tennis. Like there's always that coach is like, hey, I can fix your backhand. Like, come here. Like, I can do it. Like, give me a month. And I'm like,
magic sauce,
dude. It's not like a fucking, sorcery out there. It's not like I work on my backhand for hours and hours and hours and hours every day, every week. It's not like I just neglected it for the bulk of my life, right? Like I worked on it out of the hand, out of the feet, like every single day. I was never allowed to hit a slice in practice for years.
Really?
Right? Like, I'm working on this every day, and some of it's a mental block when you get into matches, right? Like you kind of get the yips and you just don't trust it. And, that being said, I was lucky because the coaches that I had, the few that I had throughout the course of my career, we were like, basically, it's all a mindset. You stop thinking about what you don't have. Like, I would love to have Novak's backhand. I would love to have Sinner's backhand. But guess what? I bet they look at me and be like, God, I wish I had his slice as well. And you're like, okay, like, let's frame it in this direction. Like, how do I use my slice to my advantage to get these guys off their rhythm, off their game, to then get you to a forehand? And then you can come in and be forward and go be dynamic. So, it was all a mindset, but I gave it a couple like legitimate cracks. And just, it's funny now my backhand's actually better than my forehand probably, but it's because I don't play too often.
Bro, your forehand was a problem, bro. Your forehand was unreal.
Now, yeah, the problem is now, like, I think it's still a problem when I go out there and play, and it's only a problem because they fly into the fence. Like, you play an exhibition, you're like, whoa, like, that should have gone in. I just missed it. Like,
you don't have that, like,
feet.
snap anymore to just bring it back down.
You dust off the cobwebs a little bit, then you got to get back out there. Then, it's like riding a bike. You never forget.
Yeah.
Let's go back to the glory days. So, USC, 4 team titles, 2 individual titles. I mean, we'll get to the individual stuff later, but what made you guys such a good team? What were the things that you guys did year in and year out that made you guys just different from the rest of the field?
Yeah, it's interesting because until you're in it, you don't realize like how special it is, right? Like now I can look back, be very kind of practical about it, and look back on like the memories from like a wide angled sense. And my first year we had a good team. You know how college tennis is. Like there's probably 5 to 10 teams that could probably win it, like just because they have the depth from 1 to 6. And if somebody gets hurt there, that next guy can kind of step in. And in our first year, things kind of aligned for us to a certain degree. I was playing 3 and 4 mostly. I was just trying to make the lineup. I ended up playing 3 or 4. We had Robert Farah playing 1. We had Jaak Poldma, a gentleman from Estonia who was a good junior. I think he was top 500 or 600 before he came to college, but he didn't want to play pro tennis anymore, so he kind of came back. But we had good guys. Like we had great leadership from a character standpoint, from a work ethic standpoint, and they bought into what our coaches wanted. And we had this big kind of come together moment. Our last match of the year, we played UCLA for the I can't even remember now. It was either Pac-10 or Pac-12 title in 2009. It's changed so much. We lost 6-1. And like Robert Farah, who's a junior at the time, comes in and goes, basically like, guys, like, we hadn't won at UCLA in 20 years, 25 years, something like that. We got our asses kicked. He goes, this is irrelevant. Like, we are going to be fine. Like, let's, we still have NCAAs. Like, you're going to sit here and cry about this? And we're all like, whatever, dude. Like, come on, man. Like, we just got our asses kicked again by UCLA. Like, what are you talking about? Right? But we put in the work the next like month, right, leading into NCAAs. Like things kind of came into form. We got healthy. Guys got confident. We really bought into it. We get to Texas A&M. We play Stanford. We beat Stanford, who we had some success against. That's round of 16. Quarters, we played Virginia, maybe? Or I can't even remember. Whoever we played in the quarters. I think we played Virginia in the semis. and we're getting some momentum. Like, all right, like we won. Like, okay, we got the doubles point. We win a couple quick singles matches, and there was a lot of scoreboard pressure. That helps. We're getting up 2-0, 3-0 pretty quick. And then, we all started to get a little nervous that first year because we were in the finals. Then UCLA was playing Ohio State in the second semifinal after us. So we're watching, we're kind of floating around. We're like, please, we'd rather play Ohio State, right? Like, we can't play these guys again. I didn't feel that way, but you could feel that way against, on the team, right? Like, just, Ohio State was a better team, but we just hadn't played them. So you felt a little different. And we got a bit lucky. I think we would have still won the final. But Matt Allaire, you guys might not know the name, was playing 4 for them. Played 1 doubles and 4. Was very good. Junior, grew up same time as me. He rolled his ankle bad in the singles of the semis. They put him out there in doubles against us at 1 in the finals. Couldn't walk. We're like, okay, maybe they just wanted to try and win 2 and 3, right? Like, kind of stack the lineup. No problem. We win the doubles. We're going out there to the singles, and they're like, Matt Allaire's still playing 4. And we're like, excuse me? Like, this guy, he could barely walk, right? And so he played singles at 4. He lost. Chase Buchanan lost 0-0 at 6 to Daniel Nguyen. So we were up 3-0.
You think they put him there to keep 5 and 6 the same?
I don't know. But it was this whole turn of events, right? Like, Ty got into Chase's ass, chewed him out after the doubles. So he was kind of like a deer in the headlights as well. So we were literally up 3-0 so fast in the finals that you're like, oh, there's 4 matches out there. All we got to do is win 1. I'm a freshman playing 2, playing this guy, Steven Monarchy, this German mammoth, absolute monster out there. Farah's at 1. We got good leadership playing, older guys playing the rest of the matches. And we felt confident. So that was kind of the beginning. So then after we win that, then you have belief going into the next year. And the next year we had the best team by far. We had such a good team. Robert Farah played 1. I mean, I was 1 in the country. I played 2. Jaak Polma played 3. Daniel Nguyen played 4. Matt Keke played 5. We had Peter Lucasen, who was top 500 ATP, played 6. So we had a good roster. We were going to win that one, right? Then the next year rolls around, and we just have this good group of guys. And it was important for us from a leadership player standpoint because you have to buy into what the coach is selling, right? If you're not on the same page as the coach, his message is lost. So I was a very vocal leader, and Daniel Nguyen, who you guys may or may not know, was basically if our coach Peter was like, I need you to stare at the wall for 10 hours, he'd been like, which wall? Right? Didn't question anything, and he just went to work every single day. And we just had such good young guys. We had good freshmen that came in with good energy. Emilio Gomez came in that year, brought a new life, right? These young guys. And then, we win it that year. And our senior year, arguably, I think is one of the better teams in college tennis. I would say probably top 5.
Hanfman there too?
Coming in?
Yeah. Is that Hanfman came on that team?
So Hanfman played 5, got to 45 in the world. Emilio Gomez, top 100, played 4. You had Raymond Sarmiento play 3, who is damn good. Daniel Nguyen played... Raymond played 2, Daniel played 3, and then we had Roberto Quiroz, who was top 150, play 6.
Another one with the chip.
I mean, I think that was one of our best teams, but that's a lot of pressure playing in Georgia. We played indoors, 4 courts at the time. So, we play the doubles, then top 4 guys go play singles. I win. We're up 3-1, 3-2, excuse me, going in. And the next 2 matches start. It's midnight. It's Hanfman and Quiroz, 2 freshmen out there trying to clinch a title for a 4-peat. There was nervous moments in there, fellas.
You're more nervous playing or watching?
No, not at playing. No way. At that point, I don't like to talk about it like that, but there's nobody that was beating me at that point. So I felt no pressure to be honest.
You're nervous if you win every single match.
This guy bets on himself, man.
Every single match.
You just felt like there was for me, walking out there, I played Jameer Jenkins, awesome tennis player, somebody I grew up with as well, had battles with. He's beaten me before, but in that moment, I'm just unless I die, unless I blow it, unless something happens, I'm gonna be fine. No. At that point, I've won 65 matches in a row. I'm good,
So for you, the accumulation of wins was just confidence. There was no fear of fucking up the streak or like?
No, not at that point. There was earlier, but probably like 10 days prior to that, for sure. Like I had a big sit down with Peter Smith and George Husak, who was our coach at the time. I'm like, I feel too much pressure. Like there's only one reason I came back. And to be honest, like, and this isn't any bullshit, like the only reason I came back was to win team. We had something special to do. Like that's it. I did not care. Like all I wanted to do was win team. One other team had won 4 in a row in this format. I wanted to be the second. Like I wanted to cement USC's legacy in that regard. So that's all I really cared about, at that moment, I didn't really care about my streak. All I cared about was the team. Like, let's just get across the finish line. And we had the best team. Like I felt pretty confident we would get to the semis, and then, all right, then it becomes a battle, right? Are we going to get nervous? Is somebody going to get hurt? Could somebody cramp in Georgia, right? It's hot, it's humid. Could they roll an ankle? Something could go south. But, in those moments, I bet on myself quite heavily, for sure. Figuratively, of course, if anybody's listening, No, we're not getting any betting scandals here. Come on now.
Come on, guys. Could sophomore Ben Shelton have had a chance with senior Steve Johnson?
In college, no. No way.
Chance.
Bang.
No. But that being said, we talked about this with the boys, and I think Ben would agree. Like in college, I'm taking any of these boys down, no problem. Now you give it like 8 months and Ben on tour, I don't think I got him. Not even close. Like he's got me, no problem. He's making semis of slams, and it's really remarkable and impressive what he did, and how quickly he did it. That is not easy to do, and that takes a special kid. Really impressive stuff.
Did you form any superstitions on the way as you were winning, or is it just you just felt really confident in your abilities and it was just going to be what it's going to be?
No weird superstitions, other than the fact, like our seniors, our first year we won it in 2009 at College Station, they're like, oh, we went to Olive Garden, right? The first night we got there, and then we won. And I wanted to blow my brains out at Olive Garden 10 nights in a row. I was like, come on, we got to do, we're not winning because of this, guys. Please. But, that was their thing. I'm a freshman on the team. We're going along with it. So I made sure we kind of switched the dinner rotation up. Let's go somewhere new, please. I can't do any more salad and breadsticks. I haven't been back since. I just can't do it.
And winning that many matches in a row in college, are you out there thinking tactically, or are you really just kind of doing what you like to do and you kind of bully guys around with the forehand and the serve?
A little bit of both. And, the first year is definitely different than the second year. I remember my second year, my second season of that streak, so my senior year, I felt like guys I honestly felt, I think, a bit like, a Roger or Rafa or Novak feel, where guys are kind of already defeated before they walk out there. I'm going out there and playing, no offense, but Cal Poly. Does the Cal Poly number one really think he's going to win? Against me, in a dual match? So I took that to advantage, and I was somebody that came out, and I didn't take anything for granted, right? I came out, I felt as if of all those matches, call it the 36 matches I played my senior year, I probably got out to a 3-0 lead, and it felt like 28 of them. I'd come out, I'd hold, I'd break, I'd hold, and I was a good starter. I'd come out and I would give them nothing. I would be an absolute dog out there and just be if you're going to beat me today, it's going to take me, 30 minutes to win these first 3 games, but I'm going to find a way to do it. And then, their belief kind of goes a little bit farther away, and then you start playing better, right? Then all those other factors kind of start to come in. But a lot of it was me I focus on what I can control in my match, go out there. And it's obviously different now in college tennis, no warm up, no ad, more crazy things can happen. So, I was a good starter. So I felt like I got off to good starts, and that just kind of hurt the belief of my, opponents just that much more before going out there. Yeah. And then you could tell, right? But you could also tell, we played tournaments. I'll never forget this. Billy Martin, who's the coach at UCLA, basically said, be at NCAA's my senior year. He's yeah, we're going to play Klay Thompson at 1 because we're not going to beat Stevie anyway. So we'll just put him at 1. And what a shitty feeling if you're, a teammate of his, we're just, sacrificing you at 1 so Nick Meister can play 2 and try and win. But that being said, I felt like Klay was defeated already before I walked out there, right? He saw that. Yeah. I didn't just see that. That kind of stuff was happening, right? I was playing the 2 guy often or a 3 guy. So they were trying to stack. So I got a little lucky, right? I didn't have to play the best guy every time because they were trying to work the system. And I don't blame them. But it's just a different format.
How was match 72 that last day?
I was so happy to be done with it. I was happy. You know, I look back now.
Before, or you still felt like, I'm going to do this and it's going to be over with?
No, I felt like I was going to win. I felt confident, like, you know. And the nice thing was, like, once you're at match 72, finals of singles NCAAs, it ends at 71-1 or it's over, right? Like, it's, you know, like, I'm not worried about next season or I'm not coming back. You know, I didn't get. So for me, when I played Eric, it was actually kind of calming, right? Like, I knew I was done. Like, I felt way more nervous at that point when I played, if I'm not mistaken, I played Alex Domijan in the quarters and then Bradley Klon in the semis, if I'm not mistaken. And I felt more pressure in those matches because, like, you know, I'd won it the year before. At least I wanted to give myself another opportunity in the final. But I actually felt pressure. And I'm actually like, it's actually cringy when I watch back, like, when I won that match, like the celebration. I'm like, oh, God, dude, like, what's wrong with you? Like, you know, 15 years later, I'm like, ugh, like, kind of grosses me out a little bit. But at the moment, like, I was so happy. There was so much pressure and stuff just to be done with it. And it was over. Like, now it's just a story we get to talk about and I get to tell, you know, every once in a while, which is always fun.
Does the four-peat national championship team party at all?
Together? Like, after that night?
I mean, just throughout the 4 years. Like, when is it going down? How do you guys get it done?
Yeah, we had some good times. You know, we picked and chose our nights off. Like, I can remember after my first year we won in 2009, I didn't go. I mean, I had a couple beers, but I wanted to still be All-American. I think I was 20 or 25 in the country, so I still had a lot left to play for in the singles. Like, I wanted to kind of go out there and put my best foot forward. So, like, I celebrated. Like, some of the seniors and, you know, Farah, God love the man, but, like, was in no condition to play singles the next day. And, like, I don't blame them because they had went through 2 years of losing, right? Like, they didn't – I never knew what that felt like. But then, like, my sophomore year, I was one in the country. I was hurt. I had to get surgery on my foot anyways after the season. So after we won that team in Athens, I wasn't ready to play singles the next day, boys. Like, I was the 2 seed, and I did not play well against Ryan Williams in the first round. It was an expeditious, quick exit for me.
The Nico won that round.
That was quick. But then, you know, my junior year, you know, I was one in the country. I wanted to win NCAA singles, so I didn't celebrate that big. You know, you have a couple drinks with the guys. You know, it's such a great accomplishment. And then my last year, we got home. You know, we flew home the team, we didn't party too hard. I didn't, you know, I wanted to win singles again because that was like, now that we had accomplished this four-peat, all I wanted to do was win singles. But once we got home, you know, I was off, like, 'cause I had a stress fracture in my shin during those couple of weeks. So, like, I took the next 7 weeks off. So I got after it pretty good around campus. Was still had a little bit of pull around there as a, you know, guy, being successful on campus. Missed a couple important meetings, unfortunately, in the mornings.
You got to bet on yourself, you know?
Yeah, you know, that's all right. You look back, you got a few regrets. You know, probably should have gone to those, like, board of trustees meetings at SC back in the day and, like, taken my glory walk, but I missed them. They shouldn't have been at 8 a.m, you know?
Yeah, that's a bad time for
that's just poor scheduling. That's all that is.
Bad time after socializing.
Yeah, that's on them. That's on them. Last thing on the college thing. I've been on teams where the preaching from the coach is a lot of the rah-rah, like everybody needs to be loud and we push together and they support each other, all this stuff. Then I've also seen teams that are unreal and it's not like that. Do you think that's a non-negotiable for college teams, or what was kind of the preaching from Peter Smith?
I mean, from Peter was, you know, he wasn't a rah-rah guy, not in like a bad way, like not outwardly, right? Like you've seen some teams that are very much every point, like you cheer on your teammates and you do this, right? No, you know, his message was always, you know, we are a team, we are a family. You go out and you fight for the guy next to you, right? Like that is your job. And if you guys lose, that's fine. But you go down and you go down swinging. You put your best foot forward. And luckily for him, you know, during my time, he had great guys on the team that would then go to the team, right? You know, because it's hard if you're a coach, you can't be that involved to a certain degree with 15 guys on a team. Obviously, only 6 to 8 guys play, but it's hard, like, you know, because you just don't spend as much time as the guys do, right? Like we all live together, we're all going to class together. So we're all in the foxholes together when we're out there competing. And, it's important for us as the players to then get our guys in the right position mentally, right? He's going to make sure we're right tennis wise. We've got everything taken care of. We've practiced right. We've trained right. He's given us the proper time off if we have a big stretch coming up. And then it's important. I thought it was super important for us. And we had some unbelievable guys that, didn't get a chance to play in those big matches, right? The guys that are 8 to 12 who were such good glue guys. They weren't annoyed that they weren't playing. They weren't annoyed that they didn't get their opportunity in a national final, right? They were like, we're a part of this team. I'll play 6 against, UC San Diego. Okay, no problem. Like I'll play my couple matches a year, those fall tournaments, but I'm going to be in the stands and I'm going to get behind my guys each and every point and each and every dual match. So we had such a good mix of those guys, from a vocal leader to, Daniel Nguyen, who was not a vocal leader, but was an absolute leader because he worked so hard each and every day. It didn't matter. I would get kicked out of practice a good bit, right? But, I brought it at every match. But, Peter was kind of the guy, and he was okay with me that, he could go at me. He would tell me quite often, I remember there was one time we were playing Florida. I played 3 doubles, lost. And he's like, get ready, I'm coming at you in this break. Because he didn't like our attitude in the doubles. And, we had been on, it's like a long trip for us. We played 3 matches. He goes, I'm coming at you. We can talk about it later, but I need you to take it. I'm like, fuck, man. All right. Like, no problem. So he's gotten the team, we lose the doubles point, and it's like, he's ripping me. He's like, you think you're better than this? You're playing pro tennis. We let you go do these things. And you come out here and your attitude's like this, yada, yada. I'm just like, fuck, yeah, you're right. Like, that's bullshit. Like, I got to be better, And then, we go out and we win 4-3, right? I win the clinching match at 3-all. And it's like, okay, like, we're going to be okay. But you've got to have those guys who are able to take some criticism, because that just helps the team, right? Like, we all have this one goal. We all want to do it. And it's not every day is going to be beautiful, right? Like, you're going to have bad days. Like, that's inevitable. But it's having all those guys working together, just playing for that guy to the right of you and to the left of you, each and every one of those points.
Yeah, it's funny. Because when we played USC a few times in college, we pull up to the courts and these guys are doing yoga and breathing and all kind of shit. It's like,
it changed a little after my time. Changed a little after my time.
What's going on out here?
I don't necessarily agree with all the changes, but just a different group of guys that did their group thing. And I remember, because I'd go back and I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, it's also completely different, right? There's so much turnover. And the leaders of the team will lead the best way possible. And that's the coach's job to kind of, not everybody's going to be the same, right? Like, you got to find ways to deal with me as you would with somebody else. So it definitely shifted, right? For sure.
Yeah. Brandon,
but that's the same thing. Like Brandon Holt, exactly. Like, he's after me. He's playing in, during, COVID-ish. Like, he wasn't a guy that was a big rah-rah guy. He was out there. He did his business. He went about his business. And that's just the way he was. Like, I was fiery out there. Like, I would yell at guys across the net. I would yell at the other coaches and tell them, probably things I regret now. But that was me. Like, that's how I got my juices going. And not everybody's that way, and that's okay.
And so from the 4 titles, the back-to-back singles and individual championships, what is your first big hurdle on tour? Like, when is the first time you hit a wall and it's like, okay.
Losing?
Yeah, talk to me.
Just that first week losing. I thought I was going to quit tennis for life,
Really? Right on the first?
No, not
start
that quick.
the pros and just not lose.
Not that quick. So this was funny. My first tournament pro, I played Newport, Rhode Island, qualies. And I lose to this guy. I can't remember his name, but they're like, yeah, he played like 8 for Duke a couple years back. I'm like, all right, like, I'll get through this, no problem. I lose. And I'm like, I literally left the courts. I'm like, what just happened? Like, I haven't lost in 8 months. Like, and not only that, I lost to a guy that couldn't even crack the lineup at Duke. Like, what is wrong with me? But it's hard. I will say that was the hardest part about being the transition, was to travel by yourself. That's hard. When you're on a team, it's great. You're all in the airports together. You're missing flights together. The camaraderie's there, right? You're all doing things together. So traveling solo was hard. And then losing every week. It's inevitable. Look, as a tennis player, you lose every single week. And you've got to be okay with that. It doesn't mean you're a bad tennis player. It doesn't mean you're the worst tennis player in the world. It doesn't mean you're not going to make it. But you've got to be practical about it. And that probably took me a good 18 to 24 months to really grasp that aspect of it. And once I did that, that's when my career really took off at the end of, because my first year out from like July of 2012 to July of 2013, like I got to the top 100. You're seeing your name go up in the rankings every time, right? That number's getting smaller and smaller, so it's easy. That next year was hard. I go from 90 in the world to 100 to 110, and I finished the year 170 or 180 or something like that. I'm like, whoa, okay, like that's a bit of an eye-opening, because I wasn't the main draw of slams. Now I go back to qualies or whatever. So that was a hard part for me. But I learned to be practical about those losses. And I give a lot of credit to, Craig Boynton, who was with me at the time, who had seen it all. His coach Isner, coached a lot of good players, most recently with Hubie, Hurkacz, and those guys. So I'm excited that I was able to work with him. And he really taught me how to be practical in those losses, because one guy holds the trophy doesn't mean that the rest of the guys had a bad week.
Who were the first one or two guys that you played and you were like, whoa, this tennis is a little different?
Trying to think early in my career. I played Gasquet at the Open third round my first couple months of being pro in 2012. And that was like my first top 10 guy I played. And I was like, okay, like, this is, because I beat Rajiv Ram first round, Ernest Gulbis second round. I'm like, all right, like this is a little different. Playing on, old grandstand. I was like, this is a little different. I can't just do this, right? Like there's got to be something else. Like I've got to find a way to get better in certain areas. So that was kind of my first, and especially at a slam, right? 3 out of 5, it's definitely going to be tougher, more grueling. But that was like my first, like, okay, like this is different. Like this is a little bit different out here playing.
Old grandstand is unreal.
It was the best court. I think it was like the best court in tennis, quite frankly. Like it was so good. It was compact. It was tight. You get the crowd on you. It was so loud. As an American, like I would sign up for that court in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
What are your most, maybe your favorite matches from your career? Like that you think back on and you're like, man, it was pretty cool to be a part of that match.
Yeah, I mean, all the titles, all the finals and singles obviously resonate, for one reason or the other. Like my first title was in Nottingham. My dad was able to fly in from the States. My girlfriend, now wife, was there. Like my coaching, my physio, Christian Locasio, but to share that moment with like my dad, who was my coach as a kid, was so special. Just to see like the realization is like, okay, like I really felt like I belonged, right? Like I am a title winner. And then, the next couple titles were all so different. I won in Houston in 2017, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 2017. You win one in the States, like that's cool. Like to win one in the States, like in front of your home crowd, that's unbelievable. And then, that's when, and then the next couple of years, I win it in 2018, and my father had just passed like the year prior. So like that was the last match he watched me play was Houston final in 2017. So for me, having that moment in 2018 final, like knowing that, everything that had happened, right, was very emotional for me. So that match, like all these matches stick out, but I think the most important one for me, or the coolest one, was when I played Roger, center court of Wimbledon, round of 16 at Wimbledon, at Wimby. It's July 4th in the States. Like it's, they don't quite celebrate it in England as much as we do in the States for certain reasons.
I wonder why.
But like to walk out there, like every kid knows what center court at Wimbledon looks like. You've seen it a billion times. You've dreamt about walking out there, and to do it against, in my mind, the greatest player of all time. Like I'll never forget that moment. That was one of the, and even though I lost, like that was such an incredible moment and one I'll cherish forever.
What's it like playing Federer in that arena? It's
not easy. Let me tell you, it's not easy. First set, I took me a while to take a deep breath and like really feel like I belonged. And then you relax. Then you just focus on the tennis, which then is a whole nother issue, right? Like you're playing Roger on grass. Like he has this ability to just run through his service game so fast where you just never even have a chance, and you're trying to hold service games and you're just putting so much effort into yours, and eventually you get broken, and then it's just like, gosh, like he just holds so fast sometimes where it just smothers you, and he just takes the racket out of your hand. He's the best player to do that. He just takes the racket out of your hand. He wins and loses points on his terms so easily. and it's what's made him the best.
We asked Sumit Nagal played him at U.S. Open, and he said he had the feeling that he had one toss for every serve. You had the same feeling? You had a hard time reading it?
Yeah. No, his serve is like, it's not the biggest serve, it's not the fastest serve, but like he just can hit spots, and you're just like, oh, okay, like. Well, I mean, he could hit the same serve 4 times and win the game, right? He just hits it T on the deuce, T on the ad, and he'll hit the same spot on the court 4 times. You're like, Christ, like that's good on every. It doesn't matter what side I'm on. I'm not touching it, and it's an ace. Like it's insane. It's
and
crazy.
his chip and forehand, I guess he hit over it a little bit more than you did. But after you played him in this match, did it give you any insights on ways you could use your slice a little bit better, or?
Yeah, it's funny. It's funny because actually, when I played him then 2 times after, I played him at Indian Wells in 2017. I lost 6-6, had looks in both sets to win it, which was a bit frustrating because I actually had a good game plan. I was playing really well. I used my slice extremely well, and it was frustrating him to a certain degree, right? Like he wasn't as comfortable because he had just beaten me 8 months prior at Wimbledon. Pretty routine, right? Like 3, 4, and 5. Like it's pretty straightforward on grass. So then I left that match actually in 2017 thinking, I'm like, all right, like I got a good game plan. Like I really want to play him again. Like I know what I can do. And it's funny because then I played him in Australia the next year and he beat me 2-2-2 or like something like that, like bad. And like he is able to change. He did, I was trying to do kind of similar things to him as I did at Indian Wells. And he just mutumboed me and said, absolutely not. I'm not going to let you do this. And he got out of those patterns so quickly. And I was like, fuck, like, what do I do now? Like, this was working. Now I can't even get into this pattern. And now what do I do? Like, so he's able to kind of change the game plan and change what he does effortlessly.
Do you remember what was working? What was the pattern?
Yeah, for me, like, I mean, I was using my chip really well at Indian Wells. Like, he was kind of getting flustered with that, letting me hit a couple. And then I was really attacking his forehand first ball. Like, go into his forehand to open up his backhand. Like, I was doing it very well. And especially at that time, Indian Wells, really lively, really bouncy course. Like I was using good kicks, like getting it up and out of a strike zone and then using the chip, getting it below his knees. And he wouldn't let me do that. So every time, in Australia, I'd go good chip, deep cross. He went chip line immediately. So then like now I'm on the run, right? Like, so it's like, all right, like he wouldn't even let me get to that second slice to then chip it down the line to then get him moving. Like it's really remarkable. Like I left that match and I was like, whew, like, yeah, like he changed, like Craig and I were like, wow, like he really changed the tactics very well. Very well.
Yes, so good. I saw him play Del Potro in the French Open. I don't remember what year it was, but it was maybe like a quarters or something. And Del Potro was killing him the first 2 sets. And then I don't know how he noticed, but I think Del Potro's knees are hurting a little bit, the knee. And he went to the chip like crazy. And then Del Potro's getting down to these backhands for hours and hours. And you just see him start to move slower and slower. And then then he kills in the next. I think the last 2 sets is pretty easy. Because I think
Nothing gets by Roger.
Couldn't do
Nothing.
it. So it was like, he sees it and he was on it immediately and the match flipped. Like he had no chance anymore from killing him.
He's so good at making those adjustments. It's insane.
Yeah. Unreal. Last thing before the game, I'm curious. This one baffled me. When you were playing all your career with this wonderful Aero racket. Everybody thinks it's the best racket in the world.
The cheat
and
code.
then I see you pull up.
Which Aero do you think I was playing with?
I don't even know which one. But I see you pull up to, I think, the New Year in Australia or whatever, and I'm seeing you with this red Yonex racket. I'm like, dog, what the hell is going on here? Like, why would he make this switch? What happened in that offseason?
So, yeah, this is pretty long or good story here. So I used that Aero Storm Tour, the thin beam Babolat. Not many guys used it. It's like Rafa's, but it's just like it's a lot thinner. It's a lot more less. It's a little less powerful. But I switched that racket in 2009 or 2010. I loved it like immediately. So I used it my whole career. Had some issues with Babolat. They were changing the way they were making it in 2016, and I didn't like the new ones at all. Like they were just not right for me. So I switched back to my old ones. And that was a year. It was funny because in 2016, I switched to their new racket. I want to say like 4 and like 17 leading into the French. So after the French, and I left every one of those rackets in Paris. I said, I'm going back to my old ones. And I come back, I use my old rackets, and I quarter Queens, win Nottingham, 4th round Wimby, semis of the Olympics, quarters of Cincy, right? Like, I'm like, I got my old rackets back. I'll never switch rackets ever. Like, don't ever. I call Bab. I'm like, don't ever let me switch rackets again. Like, I don't want it. They're like, well, we don't make that anymore. I'm like, then find a way to find everyone you have left. I'm the only guy who uses it. Find everyone. I will take them all of them. So I had all of them. I mean, I had every one of them, right?
How many is that they send you? And
I mean, I probably had like 50.
Okay.
Right? And rackets go bad for us, right? Like, you string them tight, they just lose their pop. And it's, after a few times, they lose their pop and they lose their racket form sometimes and shape when I'm playing, due to anger problems. So I didn't have that many rackets. Like,
due to the forehand, bro.
Due to the forehand, not the pull that I could find close by when things weren't going well. So I didn't have any left, to be honest. I have 12. I looked after I retired. I have 12 of the old models left, old. And I was like, I can last one more year, right? Like, I have one more year. And Yonex had been trying to sign me for years. They'd sent me rackets, and I to be honest, like, and I felt bad. I didn't even, the one year they sent me 16 rackets, like different strings, different molds, all this stuff. Like, how you can customize rackets, different string patterns, different weights, all this stuff. I didn't try one. I felt so bad. Like, I felt so bad for them. And their offices, their headquarters are in like Torrance, which is very close to where I live. It's 10 minutes. So then the next year, one of the head guys is like, I'm bringing a racket to your house. I really want you to try it. I'm like, fine. I try it like mid-December, that red one, and I liked it. I'm like, okay, like, I like it. Can I get 10 of these, or like at least 6 of them to go to Australia with, right? I need to get them to Nate at P1, put my grip on there because I hate the Yonex handle. Doesn't feel well in my hands. So I switched to that racket because I just didn't have any more Babs left. So I played with Yonex for 4 years. And the rackets were great. The people were awesome. Like, I love the company to this day is one of the best I've ever worked with. And then, funny, US Open 2022, if I'm not mistaken, or 2021, whatever. I can't keep anything straight. Babolat was like, this guy, Seth Maginley, was like, hey, we're making your old racket again in the old style. Like, if you want to come back. And I'm like, yep. Send them, send them. It's like, I'm a creature of habit. I didn't want to change things. So then that's when I switched back to the Bab. But that's the only reason I switched to the Yonex. I could have played one more year and then I would have had to make a move. But that's the only reason I switched. But I did really enjoy the Bab, the Yonex. Like, it was a good racket. But I'm just a creature of habit. Like, I didn't want to change ever. And, that's the reason I did it.
I thought it was for the check. That's a good.
No,
that's a better story,
I will
though.
say, guys, don't ever. PSA for all you younger listeners out there, do not switch rackets for money, ever. It doesn't work. Switch rackets because you like it. If I could have switched rackets for money, I would have been playing with some weird rackets, I promise you guys. But would have won no matches, so it would have made no difference.
Steve, on this podcast, we have a tradition that we play a little tennis trivia, right? And your boy over there, Jody, has been struggling of late. I know you're competitive, so I would like to see you add to his misery. I know you had some winning streaks. Let's add to his losing streak.
Do it
for me. Do it for me. So I'm gonna read a question out, and once you think you know the answer, you can shout it out. You can interrupt me if you want, but if you're wrong, Jody gets the answer. If you guys are both wrong, you can both try one more time, and if you guys are both wrong twice, go to the next question. First to 3 correct answers wins.
Come on.
And let's see who is gonna get her done today. Question number 1 is a who am I? Career high number 18. Right now he's 26 years old. 0 career titles. He's liable to land on the Hot Shot Instagram reels. He wears 1 white sock, 1 black sock.
Fokina.
Damn.
Wow, Jody is
Come on.
locked in today.
I was going full name. That was a mistake. I was going Davidovich Fokina.
Yes. Just gotta get it out. Just get it out anyhow. Come
Question 1-0 Maginley. Question number 2. Question number 2.
on. Go Bruins.
In singles, what are the only 2 score lines that you can win a game on the deuce side?
40-15 deuce. Wait,
No,
what?
Jody, no.
Wait, what?
What are the
What did you
only
say?
2 score lines you can win a game on the deuce side?
Game.
To win a game on the deuce side,
Yes.
it's 40-15
Yes.
in singles.
Yes.
This seems so obvious. Why can't I get this?
I mean, yes, it's very simple. It's right in front of your nose too.
It's
To win a game on
Yes,
deuce.
40-15 and
how do you else win a game on the deuce? Like somebody retire
Justin,
at 30
are
love
you okay?
are you okay?
and double fault?
Flip it. 15-40, 40-15.
Oh,
It's okay. It's
that's
okay.
a trick
It's okay.
question.
What do you mean? That's not winning a game.
That's not winning
losing
a game. That's a trick question. As a
You
server,
can break. You can't break serve.
No, I didn't. I didn't too often.
Oh, nobody breaks serve around here.
I
Anyway,
was about to freak out. I was about to freak out at the quiz.
I was about to say. I was like, when you said that, I was
like,
like 40-15 to deuce. I'm like, how's that wrong? That's crazy.
can I just teach you something? There will always be a point in this podcast where we look stupid, and this is it.
hey, you know what?
That's
It
that's
makes
par for
it
the
makes
course,
for a
boys.
great
That's all
clip.
right.
It makes
all
for a
right.
great
Makes you
clip. You
human.
know,
Hey,
content,
1-0.
content over
1-0.
everything. 1-0 Maginley. Okay, what is the name of the main character in the sitcom The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
Will Smith.
Will Smith.
Steve Johnson got there first. Sorry, 1-1.
This guy is a hook.
1-1.
Come on.
I'm glad you didn't say what his character name was. I would have missed that one.
It's
Drawing
Will
a
too.
blank.
Yeah, you would have been all right. 1-1. Question number 4 now.
Come on, let's fight.
If accommodation at Hotel A costs $50 per night, and accommodation at Hotel B costs $40 per night, if I spend 3 nights at Hotel B, how much money do I save?
$30.
2-1 Johnson.
Come on, dude, that's college education right there. That's SC, baby.
Did you get your undergrad?
Go Trojans. What's the sign? What do you guys do? What's the
Fight on, baby.
All right, peace sign. All right.
Did you get your undergrad?
Nah, 1 semester short. I've re-enrolled a couple times. Still working
Who
on it.
needs it? Who needs it? Fuck it. Bet on yourself. Bet on the nothing major.
Exactly.
You got it.
Come on.
You got it.
Next question.
Okay. I'm going to give you a player's ranking. The person closest to it gets the dub.
We're picking the ranking or we're picking the player?
Sorry.
The ranking. You're
You're
I'm
going
gonna
to say the player.
player's
We're going
name.
to pick.
Player's name. You tell me the ranking.
Got it,
The
got
person
it.
closest to the ranking gets the point. Do you guys want a male or a female?
Male.
Okay. Question number 5. What is Ethan Quinn ranked?
71.
Jesus, what? Hold on. Can I just say, why did you answer that with so much confidence?
Jody, answer the question.
Ethan's my dog. I'm gonna go 70.
Dog, every time this happens, right, Steve? I'm gonna say this, and this is the best thing in the world. Whenever this happens, Jody always picks one number above, right? Today, you said 71. And the correct answer is 72, and Jody chose to go down 1.
I will say that's a tough question to ask today because we covering the match at Tennis Channel with Elliot this morning. We went over the guys' rankings, all top 15 guys in the top 100. So I saw Ethan's number.
Oh, wow.
And I should have known 72, but that's why I said 71. But yeah, should have gone
You
up.
gave him a chance. You gave him
I
a
gave
chance.
you an opening. You didn't
He
take
changed his strategy, and it didn't pay off. You got to bet on yourself, Jody. Bet on you.
Bet on you, baby.
Game. This is a stupid game.
I'm not very good at trivia, so I'm glad I'm winning. I'm glad I found somebody worse than me.
That's 70. He's 73-0 now. We added to the corner.
Stevie, thanks so much for spending the time with us. We appreciate it. Yeah, all the best, obviously, with the pod. You know, we understand how much work goes into it, and obviously we can relate on many levels with that stuff. So all the best. Happy you can join us and talk some tennis, and we'd love to have you on anytime you want to come join us for an episode. We'd love to have you. So thank
Boys,
you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me. I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's good for the game. Don't stop. Don't let those people tell you. Keep going.
Appreciate
It's a lot of fun. Enjoy the game of tennis.
And Stevie, we always end the podcast asking the guest who was just on, based on your experience with us, who do you think would be a great guest for this podcast? Who do you want to see on the changeover?
Ooh, man. I mean, I'm always impartial to like the younger American guys, getting them on the way up. I know you guys had Marcos on. He's quirky.
Who have we had American? We've had Spiz, we've had Quinn, we've had
Nava.
Giron, we've had Nava.
I'm trying to think, like, because I think it's important, like, you know, to get the guys that are trying to think of like who's like the next kind of up and coming guys at those challenger levels that's gonna like break through, because those are the stories you haven't heard from yet, right? Gosh, but I mean, somebody with some good stories. I mean, Bublik is somebody you guys could have on. He's a lot of fun. If you could land that one, because you just never know what you're going to get. The answers. We had a great time, and I will say another one, a good one would be Gasquet.
Okay.
We had Gasquet on, and it was pure comedy trying to get him onto the pod, get him a computer, get him logged into the right place. It was pure comedy. We did it, and then we had to start over like a week later because he had to go get a computer from his neighbor. It was crazy.
No way.
Yeah, it was fun. But yeah, those are two good guys.